I'd say good afternoon, but considering you were in here earlier, I doubt you're enjoying the day. You seem to live a dangerous life, or at the very least, a careless one. At first, when I got your chart, I saw your name on it. I thought there was some sort of mistake, or that a dumb joke was being played on me. But behold my surprise at seeing you sitting there once more. What does this make it? Your 11th, 12th visit to the ER this month? Want to know the average amount of people that go to the hospital? Let alone go to the hospital twice in one day? At first, I just assumed you were a hypochondriac. But now... Oh well. Either way, I took an oath to heal and help with any patient that comes my way. So, let's get to it. What seems to be the issue this time round? Just earlier you were here for what you thought was pneumonia, but it just turned out to be bronchitis. So we gave you some antibiotics, and to come back if your cough worsens. Is it related to that? No. So it's something else then. Something wrong with your heart, you say? Well, looking at your chart, you were here before for what you thought was arrhythmia. Oh, I remember that. How long ago was that now? I believe 7 months at least. Because it was right then when I changed over to the afternoon shifts. Yes, that's right. After we did some testing, we figured out that it was simple anxiety and gave you some benzodiazepine, and that seemed to work quite well. That seemed to be an isolated incident, though. Even looking further on your chart, it seems you've never had any sort of issues like that before or since. Have you been suffering from anything that could be considered an anxiety attack? I see. And do you think anything you're feeling right now could be caused by anxiety? Something different, huh? Well, it was just a one-time thing. But just making sure. Maybe I should look back through the chart, just to check. Though you've been here so often, it's less a chart and more like a book now. I've never really noticed it before, but it seems that the only doctor you've seen here over the past several years is me. That's an odd coincidence. Have you ever been to any other doctors over the years? No, only me. That's rather peculiar. I mean, I'm no family doctor, so I hope that you're not purposely only waiting for me whenever you hurt yourself. Gonna start scaring the nurses around here into thinking you've got Munchausen syndrome. But anyways, onto the issue at hand. If your heart issues aren't being caused by anxiety, then we should definitely check into it further. So let's start off with some basic tests. I'll send down a nurse to fetch the EKG machine. But first, I need to give you just a quick physical examination. So let's start right out with your heartbeat. The stethoscope might be a tad cold, so don't let it scare you. Could you lift your shirt for me, please? It's hard to hear properly through clothing. Thank you. Just be perfectly still. Just like that. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Big breath in. And big breath out. In and out. Okay. Now I'm just going to move it a bit lower to get a good listen in your lungs. So just take a deep breath and let it out. Deep breath. And breathe it out. Once more. And good. Now, if you'll lean forward a bit, I'm going to put this against your back to get another good listening on your lungs. So take a good old big breath and let it out. And once more. And out. Okay. Well, I don't hear anything out of place. At least not anything that we didn't notice earlier. Your heart is beating rather quick, though. However, that's more likely nerves than anything else. Even for someone as versed in hospital life as yourself would be a little nervous. Oh, looks like the EKG just arrived. Let's hook you up and get some accurate readings. This little bit here will just clip onto the end of your finger, while this cuff will go right around your arm. It'll squeeze a bit, so let me know if it's too tight for you. Your comfort is important after all. Seems like everything is normal. Blood pressure is a tad high, but nothing that's too noteworthy. Could you tell me more about the issues you're facing? Any numbness or tingling feelings? I mean ulcers, muscle spasms in the esophagus, gallbladder issues, and even some pancreatitis can cause chest pains and other symptoms that mimic heart issues and such. The brain just has a certain way of tricking one into believing the worst possible scenario. So tell me more about what you're feeling at the moment, please. A tightness in your chest. That's rather vague. Is it only under certain circumstances, or a constant thing? I mean, that could range from angina to simple acid reflux. It's too little to go on. You say that you only feel that tightness at certain times. That could be crucial information. Could you give me some examples when you feel this tightness? I'm sorry? But do you mean you only feel this tightness when you're around me? Oh, you mean like as an anxiety, right? Nothing like anxiety, you say? Well, that's certainly something to take into consideration. Your heart rate on the EKG has gone up quite a bit as well. If you're asking for my personal diagnosis, then I think what you're going through right now is simple love sickness. Do you know how long you've been feeling this way? I see. Well, despite all that, my number one duty is to ensure your welfare and that all your needs as a patient are being met. I don't know if you're aware of the idea of doctor-patient relationships being extremely looked down upon by higher-ups. It's my job to make sure what's best for you after all. I'm the doctor, and you're the patient, so it's best that you always listen to what I have to say, to what I think is best for you. You've been my patient for so long after all. I know you all too well without even having to look at the chart. Maybe I should have you stay the night to make sure that you're in perfect health. Yes, I do think that'll be for the best. After all, if we try and consider how long you might have been suffering from this love sickness, it's of course my duty, and perhaps my mistake, to have overlooked it for so long that I now must try and take care of it as best I can. I think perhaps after I go see some other patients and attend to some emergency situations, that I come back and give you a more thorough physical. After all, we don't know what sort of long-term effects this has had on you, and we've got to try and figure out some treatment for this. And since I've been your doctor for so long, I think it'd be most appropriate for me to perform that. I think perhaps some physical therapy could be in order. Some more of the specialized kind, you understand. I'm glad you agree. It's always helpful when the patient is willing to accept treatment. Good. So it's settled then. I'll arrange a room for you to remain here overnight, and you can try and relax and alleviate some of these symptoms. And for the physical, you may have to take off a bit more than just your shirt. After all, it has to be a thorough one. What kind of doctor would I be if I didn't give one of my longest-running patients the best care I can offer?